Have you ever stopped to think if it's really possible to program morality into a machine? In this video, we will explore the fascinating intersection between ethics and technology, challenging concepts that shape our lives. How can artificial intelligence not only transform our daily lives, but also decide what is right or wrong? Get ready for a journey that will question everything you know about morality and its implications for the future. Stay with us until the end and discover how machines can influence our deepest decisions. Morality is an intricate concept that permeates human interactions and the ethical principles that guide the behavior of individuals and societies. At its core, morality refers to a system of norms and values that determines what is considered right or wrong in a given context. These moral principles are shaped by a combination of factors, including culture, religion, philosophy, and personal experiences. Morality is not a fixed entity. It adapts and evolves as societies progress and face new challenges. For example, contemporary norms on human rights and gender equality are constantly evolving, often the result of centuries of debate and struggle. In short, understanding morality involves delving into deep philosophical debates and considering how individual and collective perceptions shape our decisions and interactions. Thus, morality emerges as an essential element in building cohesive and fair communities, and is fundamental for managing conflicts and fostering an environment of responsibility and mutual respect between people. Morality manifests itself in different ways around the world, reflecting the particularities of each culture and society. For example, while some cultures emphasize the importance of collectivity and social bonds, others may value individual autonomy and personal freedom more. Western morality, often influenced by Judeo-Christian traditions, may privilege individual rights and freedom of choice, while many Eastern cultures may place a greater focus on social harmony and collective responsibility. Furthermore, local practices and beliefs can shape morality in widely divergent ways. Polygamy, for example, may be accepted in some communities but seen as unacceptable in others. This raises questions about the relativity of morality. To what extent should moral norms be universal, or should they be adapted to the specific cultural context? Intercultural dialogue is essential for promoting understanding and respect between different societies, and allows for a rich exchange on how ethical values can be shared or adapted without losing the central aspect of human dignity. Therefore, this aspect of morality invites us to reflect on ethical plurality and the various ways of looking at the human essence. The evolution of morality is a reflection of the social, technological, and philosophical changes that societies experience over time. From the earliest civilizations to the modern era, questions about ethics and behavior have been continually reevaluated. In the historical context, we find examples that show how moral convictions can change in response to crises, scientific advances, or social movements. The abolition of slavery, women's suffrage, and the fight for civil rights are emblematic cases where morality was challenged and reconfigured. Furthermore, in the 21st century, morality is faced with new dilemmas caused by technology, such as AI and biotechnology, which raise ethical questions about privacy, autonomy, and humanity. The concept of morality is not watertight. It fluctuates and adapts, forming a kind of baseline that must be constantly questioned and redefined. This dynamic scenario requires from each generation not only a reflection on inherited moral principles, but also courage and willingness to question and reformulate them according to the current context, which is full of complexities and challenges never seen before. The importance of morality for society cannot be underestimated, as it is the foundation that supports human interactions and social functioning. Morality establishes a set of rules that, if followed, promote social cohesion, peace, and justice. Without a common understanding of what is moral, societies would be susceptible to chaos and anarchy, as there would be no criteria to evaluate actions and behaviors. More than a set of norms, morality also serves as a guide for the formation of character and individual conscience, influencing how people see themselves and relate to the world. By cultivating a strong sense of morality, we not only create trusting relationships, but we also foster a culture where empathy and respect are priorities. Furthermore, building strong social and political institutions depends on morality, as leaders and rulers are often evaluated on their adherence to ethical norms. Therefore, morality is more than a theoretical concept. It is a practical necessity for the sustainability of civilized societies, as well as for the development of honest and conscious individuals. Artificial intelligence, AI, is a field of computing that aims to develop machines and systems capable of simulating human intelligence. This involves applying algorithms and mathematical models so that machines can learn, reason, interpret data, and even make decisions autonomously. Historically, the concept of AI dates back decades, when scientists like Alan Turing began exploring the idea that machines could be programmed to imitate human reasoning. Since then, AI has evolved significantly, including the development of technologies such as speech recognition, recommendation systems, and even autonomous vehicles. Today, AI is present in many aspects of everyday life, from virtual assistants such as Siri and Alexa, to complex systems used in finance and healthcare. However, defining what artificial intelligence is not a simple task, since there are several approaches and categories within the field, such as weak AI, which performs specific tasks, and strong AI, which has broader and autonomous reasoning capabilities. This distinction raises important questions about the nature of intelligence and the possible ability of machines to, in fact. The ethical challenges of artificial intelligence are many and complex, reflecting the need to think about how these technologies impact society and human relationships. One of the main challenges is the issue of transparency. Often, the algorithms that govern AI are so complex that they become black boxes. Their decision processes are not easily understandable. This lack of transparency can lead to decisions that affect people's lives without them knowing how those decisions were made or what criteria were used. Furthermore, the issue of privacy is crucial, as AI often uses large amounts of personal data to improve its functions. This raises concerns about who has access to this information and how it is used. Another challenge is the possibility of biases embedded in the algorithms. If the data used to train AI models contains social or racial biases, AI can perpetuate and even amplify these inequities. Therefore, ethics in AI should not be an afterthought. It must be a central component in its research and development, ensuring that technologies are created responsibly and with a genuine commitment to the well-being of society. The way in which artificial intelligence can influence moral decisions is an aspect that raises intense ethical and philosophical debates. AI can be programmed to analyze ethical scenarios, weighing different consequences of actions in specific situations. For example, in medical emergency situations, AI systems can quickly assess which patient should receive priority treatment based on several factors. However, this raises the question of who should decide which criteria are most important, and whether the decision should be based on fully rational calculations or whether it should include a more human analysis. The possibility of machines making decisions that affect human lives introduces moral dilemmas that were previously exclusively human. Furthermore, the increasing dependence on AI in decision-making contexts can lead to a dehumanization of processes, where decisions are made without considering emotions, cultural contexts, or even human dignity. This transformation raises questions about responsibility. If a machine makes a mistake in its decision, who is responsible? The machine? The programmer? The society that accepted this new paradigm? These questions require in-depth reflection and a review of current ethical standards. To better understand the ethical challenges of artificial intelligence, it is important to analyze case studies that exemplify the implications of these technologies for moral decisions. A well-documented example is the use of AI in criminal justice systems, where algorithms are used to predict the likelihood of an individual committing a crime again. Although it has the potential to reduce judgment time and increase system efficiency, questions arise about the fairness and accuracy of these algorithms. In many cases, historical data feeding these systems may reflect racial or socioeconomic biases, resulting in discrimination reinforced by technological alternatives that are supposed to promote fairness. Another notable case is that of autonomous vehicles, which must make decisions in fractions of a second in emergency situations. How to program these machines to decide between the least possible damage. This issue goes beyond technology and challenges moral principles that are often subjective and vary between cultures. Analyzing these cases, we can see the need for a continuous dialogue between experts, ethics, and society so that the evolution of AI goes hand in hand with social values and morality, ensuring that machines truly serve the common good. Programming morality into machines involves creating models that can simulate ethical decisions and moral behaviors. There are several approaches to accomplishing this task, one of the most common being the use of machine learning algorithms that analyze large sets of data to infer patterns of moral behavior. These models can be rule-based, which establish explicit guidelines about what is right or wrong, or more complex approaches such as reinforcement learning, where the machine is rewarded for making decisions that align with a set of previously defined moral norms. For example, in contexts where AI must deal with ethical dilemmas, such as in public health, it is crucial that algorithms are programmed to prioritize individuals' well-being fairly. Another important aspect is to consider the cultural and social implications when programming morality, as what is considered acceptable in one culture may be unacceptable in another. Finally, transparency in the programming of these machines is essential, as this ensures that the decisions made are understandable to users and that the criteria that guide these decisions are ethical and respectful. Expert views on the integration of morality in AI are diverse and complex. Many experts believe it is possible to program machines to make moral decisions, although this depends on clearly defining what constitutes morality. Ethicists and computer scientists propose methods for encoding moral principles into algorithms, considering factors such as social and cultural context. Some argue that morality should be contextual and adaptive, suggesting that machines should be programmed to learn from past experiences, similar to humans. However, this approach raises questions about the responsibility and reliability of decisions made by machines. The lack of a universal consensus on what is morally acceptable further complicates the issue, as different societies may have conflicting ethical norms. On the other hand, there are experts who argue that morality cannot be reduced to a set of programmable rules, since it involves emotional and social nuances that machines, by their very nature, are incapable of fully understanding. Therefore, although there is an effort to implement morality in machines, the discussion remains an open field for investigation and debate. Recent developments in the quest to program morality into machines have been both inspiring and challenging. With the increasing use of artificial intelligence in various sectors, from healthcare to public safety, the need for ethical machines becomes more evident. Several initiatives have focused on creating AI systems that not only perform tasks, but also consider the ethical repercussions of these actions. Researchers are creating models that incorporate game theory, allowing machines to simulate complex social interactions and make choices based on collective moral principles. Furthermore, the field of AI ethics has emerged as an area of study where multidisciplinary teams, comprising philosophers, computer scientists, and psychologists, collaborate to better understand how morality can be integrated into AI systems. However, this has also brought to light ethical dilemmas about the autonomy of machines and the possibility of delegating moral decisions to algorithms. The challenge is finding a balance between programming ethical decisions and the ability of machines to operate independently without losing sight of human well-being. In short, the path to programming morality into machines is a journey full of possibilities, but also of profound ethical considerations that require careful reflection from everyone involved. In recent years, research into programming morality in machines has advanced significantly, resulting in several innovations and improvements to existing approaches. Projects like the Moral Machine, developed by MIT, have experimented with how machines can make moral choices in complicated situations, such as collisions involving autonomous vehicles. These studies have revealed the diversity of opinions about what constitutes a correct moral decision. For example, participants' responses highlighted striking cultural differences, suggesting that morality is not just a technical issue, but also an expression of varied human values. Additionally, researchers are increasingly exploring the use of deep neural networks to train AI systems to recognize situations involving complex moral dilemmas, rather than relying exclusively on fixed rules. Practical applications of this research can already be seen in areas such as medicine, where AI systems are programmed to help doctors make decisions about ethical treatments. However, debates about the accountability of decisions made by AI, the transparency of algorithms, and the need for human oversight remain crucial. So, while recent developments in the field offer significant promise, they also reinforce the importance of approaching morality in machines with caution and a deep understanding of the role that ethics plays in our society. Utilitarianism and deontology represent two philosophical currents that offer contrasting perspectives on morality. Utilitarianism, popularized by thinkers such as Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, emphasizes maximizing happiness and minimizing suffering. In a context of ethical programming for machines, this implies creating algorithms that make decisions based on the consequences of their actions, always seeking the greatest good for the greatest number of people. On the other hand, deontology, associated with Immanuel Kant, focuses on the importance of duty and moral rules independent of consequences. This approach suggests that certain actions are intrinsically right or wrong, regardless of the results they produce. The tension between these two philosophies becomes especially relevant in machine programming, as developers need to decide whether to enable artificial intelligence to act in a utilitarian way, focusing on results, or in a deontological way, respecting moral and ethical principles that should not be transgressed. The choice between these two approaches can profoundly affect the development of artificial intelligence systems, especially in scenarios where critical decisions, such as in healthcare or autonomous vehicles, need to be made. In this way, the integration of utilitarian and deontological approaches can not only enrich the morality of machines, but also promote a broader debate about what it means to be moral in an increasingly technological world. Decisions about programming machines based on moral philosophies such as utilitarianism or deontology have profound consequences. Implementing a utilitarian perspective can lead to solutions that prioritize efficiency and results over individual rights. For example, in a situation where a machine needs to decide between saving the life of a person or a group, the utilitarian choice may prioritize the group, even if it means disregarding individual lives. This raises an ethical dilemma. Should machines really have the ability to decide who lives or dies based on greatest good calculations? Alternatively, by programming machines according to the deontological approach, we create a system that respects human dignity and basic rights, but that can be inflexible in situations that demand quick and pragmatic decisions. Throughout technological development, it is essential to keep in mind that the application of a specific moral philosophy directly impacts issues of responsibility, trust, and social acceptability. Responsibility for decisions that machines make must be considered. The search for a balance between these philosophies is a complex journey that involves not only technology, but also the continuous examination of the values we want to see reflected in the machines that are increasingly part of our lives. Machine ethics becomes a crucial topic as artificial intelligence becomes more prevalent in our lives. The question becomes, how far can we go in programming machines with consideration for morality? Technology advances rapidly, and this poses ethical challenges about how to deal with machine autonomy. Machines can be programmed to act ethically, but there are risks associated with this autonomy. For example, when an autonomous car needs to decide between causing an accident or endangering the life of its passenger, how should it act? The ability to program a machine to make moral decisions raises concerns about responsibility. If a self-driving car causes an accident because of ethical programming, who is responsible? The developer? The creator company? The user? These questions call for a deeper discussion about ethical responsibility in a world where many decisions are being delegated to machines. Limiting the decision-making capacity of machines or establishing clear guidelines for their moral operation may be one way forward, but these measures can also reduce the effectiveness and creativity of artificial intelligence. Thus, machine ethics is not just a technical issue, but a social pact that, as a society, we need to continue to define and redefine as we move forward in this new technological era. The future of morality in machines is a necessary reflection, as we live in an era where technology not only makes our lives easier, but also presents new ethical dilemmas. As machines become more sophisticated, the question of how to program them to act morally will be increasingly pressing. The integration of morality into machines should not just be a technical exercise, but also an opportunity to reflect on our own values and principles as a society. One approach is to develop ethical standards and guidelines that can be applied globally, allowing for greater consensus on what we consider morally acceptable. It is a challenge, as different cultures and societies have their own conceptions of morality. In this way, intercultural dialogue will be essential to find a middle ground that respects the diversity of values. Furthermore, education for ethics, both in technology and in society in general, must be promoted as a priority, aiming to create citizens more aware of the impact of their technologies. Ultimately, the future of moral machines depends not just on how we program them, but on how we choose to behave toward the technology we create. Morality in machines will be a direct reflection on the morality of humans, with the central question being, what kind of future do we want to build, and at what price? The connection between morality and technology has become a central theme in current philosophical and ethical discussions, especially with the accelerated advancement of artificial intelligence. Technology is not a neutral entity. It is shaped and influenced by the values and principles of those who create it. For example, artificial intelligence algorithms can reflect human biases since they are trained on data that may contain bias. This raises crucial questions about how we decide what is right or wrong in programming these machines. Is it possible, then, to teach a machine to distinguish between good and evil? A monumental task that involves not only codifying moral norms, but also ensuring that they remain up to date and relevant in an ever-changing world. Morality is subjective and varies between different cultures and societies, creating even greater complexity in trying to create a morally conscious machine. Therefore, the intersection between morality and technology requires deep reflection on what values we want to embody in our creations and to what extent these machines can, or should, be capable of making moral decisions. Regulation around artificial intelligence is essential to ensure that the technology is aligned with desired ethical principles. Countries around the world are beginning to realize the need to establish guidelines and standards that guide the development and implementation of AI systems. One of the main objectives of regulation is to prevent abuse and ensure that the implementation of AI does not perpetuate existing inequalities or discrimination. Discussions about the creation of specific legislation are ongoing, considering the protection of privacy and security of personal data. In some regions, such as the European Union, there are already initiatives that propose strict regulations for AI, focusing on the responsibility of developers and companies. This type of approach suggests implementing ethical risk assessments for new AI projects that consider their social and ethical implications before their real-world application. These regulations may include requirements for transparency in data collection and the functioning of algorithms, as well as a commitment to ensuring that AI results are fair and unbiased. As AI technologies are constantly evolving, these regulations must also be flexible and adaptable, allowing innovations to be integrated responsibly. For women over 50, understanding the impact of these changes and how legislation can protect their rights and safety is essential. Ethical transformation in technology should not just be an academic reflection, but a joint effort that involves the whole of society. Society plays a key role in shaping morality in machines. Machines do not operate in a vacuum. They are designed to reflect the values and concerns of the society that develops them. Therefore, it is crucial that the population is engaged in the debate about how machines should be programmed to act ethically. This means that communities need to be active in discussing which moral principles AI systems should follow. Workshops, community forums, and public discussions are effective ways of involving the population, allowing different opinions and perspectives to be considered. This democratic approach is especially important as technologies like AI can often disproportionately affect some groups more than others. Therefore, activism in favor of ethical AI must include voices from different age groups, genders, and social classes. Additionally, education is a key component. Teaching people about how AI works and its ethical implications can lead to greater accountability for both creators and users of technology. Women, especially more mature ones, have a valuable contribution to this conversation, as their life experiences make them especially sensitive to issues of justice and equity. Understanding the implications of technology is the first step to ensuring that machines and algorithms are programmed with a morality that reflects society's best intentions. As we progress through this century, the intersection between morality and technology becomes increasingly complex. The question of morality in machines is not just an academic dilemma. It has practical repercussions that can affect our daily lives in profound ways. Increasingly, we find ourselves in a world where decisions are made by algorithms, and responsibility for those decisions needs to be carefully examined. The use of artificial intelligence opens up many possibilities, but it also raises significant ethical challenges. In this sense, It is extremely important to reflect that morality in AI cannot be seen as a single solution to complex problems. It requires a multidimensional approach that takes into account the nuances of the human experience. Likewise, one must be aware that morality is a social construction, and its interpretations can vary between communities and cultures. This recognition requires ongoing dialogue between technology developers, philosophers, policymakers, and citizens. What kind of society do we want to build? What values do we want machines to promote? These are questions that deserve attention and reflection. For the future of AI and morality, it is essential that these discussions are open and inclusive, so that we can ensure that machines help build a better, more ethical world that respects the diversity and particularities of all individuals. Morality is a complex social construct that must be constantly reevaluated, especially as technology advances. Reflecting on the values we want to embody in machines is essential to ensure that artificial intelligence serves the common good and respects human dignity. If you could choose a story about how technology and morality intertwine or about a specific ethical dilemma involving machines, what would it be? Share your ideas with us. To what extent can we delegate moral decisions to machines? The programming of morality in artificial intelligence is an issue that challenges us to reconsider what it means to be human in the age of technology. What do you think about this? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date with our next video, where we will continue to explore fascinating topics about morality and technology.